There's a lot you can do to control space with just your hand. Hello, my name is Michael Glenn, and in this episode of the Dojo Show, we're studying the Kata Shunū. In Shunū, you're controlling space using this hand like a talon, and you pick up your opponent's kachira, his hilt, and then you move his sword around. You want to transition from one cut to the other. So starting from haso here, it comes down and I just naturally cut across, okay? Then I come to daijodan and cut down, okay? Then it comes up here to kasumi and down. Kasumi and down. And the last one, you can do it from right here, or you can do this big motion to come up, okay? Yeah, you probably showed it that way, but just want to emphasize that. So one more time, James. So you guys, your stance is important in all of these, okay? So with the sword, it's very crucial that you know where the tip of your blade is at all times. So a mistake that I see sometimes is when people are swinging, they're very relaxed and casual about the tip, and it just kind of goes where the heck ever, right? And then when they do the sideways cut, same thing. See, it's all wobbly here and just kind of sloppy. You want it to be really precise. You know exactly where it is at all times, okay? For your own safety, but also to be able to attack with it, okay? So as you cut, we're going to go through this again. Try to pay attention to where that is at all times. Know where it is. Try to have it finish at a precise spot. Okay? Well, don't kill any soccer players. Okay, I'm going to count it out again. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku. He's just going to be a target for me, so I can show you guys where the cuts are roughly supposed to go, okay? So the first one from haso is kesagiri. So it's cutting diagonally across his body, okay? And it's approximately the same angle as the lapel, but maybe a little bit sharper angle, okay? So once again, from kesagiri, diagonal across his body. The next one is dogiri, okay? So that is going straight across, horizontally across his midsection, okay? Then the next one is from daijodan, cleaving it to the head, straight down, okay? Then the next one is another kesagiri, cutting across the body on the other side. Then again here, across, diagonal down, yeah. And then the last one is diagonal up. So that's gyaku kesagiri, diagonal up, okay? So get across from somebody and try this. You notice like I kept some distance between me and him because it's dangerous. So you should do the same with each other, okay? So this time he's going to be stepping forward, okay? He would never probably really do that, but we want to practice doing these cuts going backwards, okay? So I'm going to cut, and then he's going to enter. Go ahead, step forward. Okay, like this. So more. Okay. Yeah, he says it's suicidal, which is true, but we need to practice being able to cut while retreating, because if a guy does enter on you, you maybe need to do that, okay, especially if he had a sword. One of the reasons you would do this kind of thing is if I'm here and Barkley has a sword and he's coming in, I need to be able to cut while retreating, right? So then maybe he flips his sword around and tries to advance again on me. Yeah, to cut me on that side or something. So then I need to retreat and cut. Okay. Then maybe he tries to thrust or something here. So this is this retreating motion that you need to have, right? Because you know if you're in a sword fight, one guy might be advancing and your cuts may miss or they may hit armor and maybe they don't have the effect you want them to have, and he keeps coming. So you have to be prepared for that. So the next exercise here is we have someone on each side, okay? And so I'm going to do a cut to each person. Okay, so the first one I come down this way, second one across this way, third one down this way, fourth one, let's see. This fourth one is diagonal that way, fifth one diagonal that way, sixth one up this way. Okay? You notice I got confused in the middle, right? And that's going to happen to you because you don't normally do this. So that's why we're doing it, okay? So I'm going to start, I'm going to go the other direction now, okay? So down this way, across this way, that way, diagonal that way, diagonal that way, and then the last up, okay? I didn't want to talk about that because that gets more advanced, but he's right. So after my daijo on here, if the tip is guarding him, but I'm going to attack somebody else, it leaves a big gap over here. So the way I was doing it was I was starting to transition all the way through, so covering both. So my transition is happening as I'm moving. So the difference being, like, I could do it the way he's talking about, which is here and then cut, right? Or the way I was doing it was this transition is happening all the way through. So that way I could cut both of them maybe. Yeah. So that's something to play with if you had multiple attackers. Your tip can't just guard one person. You have to guard everything around you. So another thing to think about with a sword, this is beyond the scope of this class, but you're guarding with the tip, but you're also guarding with the suba, and you're also guarding with the kashira. Those are like your shields. So as I'm like cutting will, this is my guard against you guys. Okay. So if one of them were to enter or something, I need to have my, like if James came in with a cut, right? I need to have this available to me. So you see how that works? So I was cutting him, but James comes in with a cut, and I receive it on my suka and adjust. So you have to have that ability when there's multiple opponents. The kata we're doing is from Gyokoru, and in this particular level of Gyokoru, you start off in this kamae, Haro Banetsu no kamae. So from here, he's going to go to draw. So I Bujinkan here, and I take his sword. So he goes for his draw. I deliver a Bujinkan to Jinchu, okay? And then I pull his sword out. This kata, I forgot to mention the name, it's Shunū, which translates roughly as macho falcon. Actually, I've seen different translations. One is falcon hero, but if you look at the kanji, it's falcon and male, okay? So it's kind of like this macho falcon or a male falcon, okay? I don't know if that's the best translation, but that's one way to look at it. So where does the falcon come in here? There's a couple places where it comes in. the first I'm here, he comes with his draw. This is like a falcon claw or talon, okay? So I'm placing it out in the space in a way that's like a talon of a falcon, okay? And then it's grasping at the kashira there, at the hilt, okay? Once more. So this talon kind of feeling here, okay? In reality, you use that too. So that's a different henka, but in reality, you use that talon to help you in this kata, okay? So I receive here, this drives in there, okay? And then I pulled that out. I'm covering the pommel here, but I'm keeping my elbow tight to my body. I'm not reaching out for it, okay? One more time. So it's my body moving into the space that really blocks it, okay? My hand is just extra. I'm not trying to, one more time. You don't want to try to reach out and stop it, because you're likely to miss or get your arm cut off, okay? So instead, I just move into the space with my body, and that stops it, all right? And then my hand is the extra insurance to really stop it. So here, when I pull this out, I want to take the tip and use the center line here, so it's aiming at his throat. This kamae hanobunetsu, it's like a sui, okay? So you're chi, sui, ka, fu, ku, and you're taking sui and you're linking them, okay? This can be done in an internal version too, where you don't see it, but they're linked on the inside, okay? But the one that's normally shown is this one here. Soke sometimes will do it like this too, okay? So I'm here. So Jinchu there, see his throat? Hey Barkley, on the basic form, you're going for this, the pommel. But sometimes your hand will slip by to the hand, because you're more watching him. You're not looking at that. You're watching him, and so then as he goes to draw, you go for that, but maybe your hand slips to his hand. If you catch the pommel, that's great. You can use that too, but that's what you're going for. It's to stop his draw from coming out. So the way Soke shows this, he's going for his draw and his cut. And Soke talks about pulling this arm back, okay? So you pull this arm back. There's a lot of reason for that. But the next piece here, as I go to do the Jinshu, is I want to move my whole body in and push his sword back into him. That's important, okay? You want to keep it from getting out of the saya, and you want to start to control his balance. Okay, even before the strike. That's very crucial. One more time here, please. So I'm here, he goes for his draw. I draw this arm back, okay? So that time I even caught it on my sleeve. I didn't even have a hold of it. But just by pressing in with my body, it jammed him up, okay? Again, I don't have a hold of it. But just by moving it with my body, it's jammed up there. Okay, and then this strike would obviously knock him back more than I can pull. So it's very important that you do this with your feet. A lot of people make a mistake with this one of reaching with the hand. And if you do that against somebody who knows how to use a sword, they'll just cut your arm off. You're not going to let that happen. They'll see you reaching and they'll just lop your arm off. So you can't reach like that. As he cuts, it's just turning and entering with the body. Okay? You notice my elbow's bent. My hand is close to my body here. Okay, those details are really crucial when you do this. Okay, so see if you can get that. Think about pulling the hip back, right, and then entering with the body. Okay, James, you're going around too much to the angle. Let's stay in front. You have to have some courage there to stay in front. His sword is over on his left side, so the center is open to you. You know, if he's doing his draw correctly, the sword starts to come to the center, but you want to control that center before he does. You know, try to enter in that space. This pulling the hip is really important, and I'll show why here. So if Richard's drawing and I'm late, if I'm late, I need to be able to rotate on this, okay? Once more. Because there's a good chance you're not prepared or he's quicker than you or something. So he draws. See how I'm way over here, okay? I've pivoted around where this sword is going. So then I can do that, okay? See, the sword's already out. You see my positioning here. Okay. So even if I'm late, by pulling this hip, I'm able to deal with that. But I've received his suka, the kashira here. This is the goal of this kata, is to control that. Okay. If you control that, it's hard for him to do a lot. So I just received it there. See how he got it way out that time. I let him get really far out there that time with the draw. I was really late. But because I'm controlling the center and the space in this kashira, I'm still okay. That last one I did was pretty advanced. You might be hesitant to try that one, but if a good swordsman knows what they're doing, it's going to be hard for you to get that one. But you guys can explore, okay? Again, don't make it a competition, but wait until you have the courage to wait until your opponent gets the sword farther out, okay? And then use this pulling of the hip to protect yourself, okay? Yeah, you're late. He's quicker than you, or you weren't ready, or whatever, and you move late. See how I just controlled this space? So even though that's there, it's not going to hit me. Yeah. So it's that feeling, you know, like even though the sword's there, you're controlling that pivot point on the sword. So again, I just receive turning this way, okay? You see how that opens him up there for this strike? So it's just a light receiving there, okay? Now I've got him locked up here. Punches, I just received lightly this way. You want to try? So it's still this kind of falcon claw here. Okay, and you can use that, right? See what's happened to this hand? Will, you want a piece of this, right? don't get to see you enough, so it's just really light here. Okay. So that hand, moving that hand, like it's hard for him to resist it, and it does funny things to his body. The key is receiving that punch to begin with, so just pulling this hip back, placing this hand here. And then from here, depending on where you feel his balance, you use it, okay? And then the strike can follow after that. One of the things Sensei does with this is, this idea like of nori-kai we've talked about, or even Aida. It might seem unrelated. Nori-kai is like changing trains in a train station. You're transferring from one to the other. Aida, that he talked about a lot last year, was skipping a stone across the water. But skipping, it's going from one point to the next. And so it's similar in a way to transferring or changing trains. So James, if I could borrow you. So as I receive this punch, I go to this hand here. Okay. So I receive the initial punch, and then it skates across back to the other hand. Here and over there. It's a weird feeling, huh? So you go to this hand back here, okay? So Barkley, when he punched, his hand drifted a little down here, so I had to shift my transfer. Yeah. So it's going to be different on different people. You guys get the concept? It's kind of it's an interesting feeling because they feel their fist hit this and then it's gone. Okay. So try to capture that feeling if you can. So one thing that's really important in this is that you don't, again, reach out to grab the punch. If he's punching you, he's coming to you. You know where that punch is going, unless he's trying to deceive you, right? So as Barkley's punching here, that punch is coming right down the barrel here. I know where it's coming to. I don't have to search for it with this hand. Okay, one more time. So it's just there. Okay, so I just replace my face with my hand. I don't have to move very much either. Yeah, one more time. So then when it slips, it creates an interesting feeling. His fingers are pretty bound up here. Yeah. Okay. So you guys understand what I mean? So what I was watching you guys right now is that you guys are doing like this. You're like reaching for the punch, and it doesn't even have time to get out there. Yeah. So instead he's punching, and it's just there. That was kind of that floating, quality that Soke talked a lot about last year. I sort of float him into space, and when he's floating like that, I can do whatever I want. He's kind of at my mercy a little bit. So same starting position here. That same feeling I was just talking about, yeah. Soke talks about with this Hano Unetsu like it's a flood. It's like a tsunami hitting your attacker. And if you've ever seen a big wave hit somebody, they can't stand in the way of it, right? It just moves everything in its path because it's so much force. So here I'm free to attack, yeah? Eyeball. So this is the same as the kata, this beginning part. Okay, and then I just skip off that. Okay, if this were a real saya, I could use it for leverage here across his back. Yep. You guys understand the idea? This is pretty advanced, but see if you can get it. And you notice the sword starts to go flying, so be careful, because that'll get dangerous if it starts flying around and hit somebody in the teeth. So be cautious with that, please. I'm starting the same way. I could start in my kamae here, right? I could start off in my kamae. And then James comes with his draw there, and I've already looped the hand and the sword. Okay. So then as I drive in, you see he's now choking himself. The sword is locked to his body, and he's choking himself here. See how this goes? I want to catch his hand and the suka together. Okay. Now he can't do anything with this sword. He's like my puppet here, right? See how that's locked up to him? It's okay whenever he uses rope, he just bunches it up all sloppy like that. Okay? So James goes for his draw. That could be a distraction even. Okay? And then I pull this loop here to go over the suka and his hand. Okay? So now it's the same principle that we have with the chain. This is around his hand and the suka. Okay? So this is now across his elbow and the sword is locked in. So it's just loose like this. This one's around my own wrist. Okay? So I want to keep that just loose there. So here, I stop the sword. This just pulls across so that I've got his hand. Okay? See how the hands are both trapped here? And then you can bring this across the elbow.